Yo, what up, though? Welcome back to another episode of Q Reviews. In this Q Review, we be going over Barbarian, directed by Zach Cregger, starring Bill Skarsgård and Justin Long. The basic plot of Barbarian is a girl's going for an interview in Detroit, and she rents an Airbnb in Detroit, and she finds out that the house is already occupied. So the first half of this movie is this tense thing. Is Bill Skarsgård a killer? Is he not? And that's all I'm going to say without spoiling it. She ends up staying the night. And then somehow we end up in the basement, and that's all I'm going to say, because if I start spoiling, it's hard to really talk about this movie without talking about this movie, because this movie is actually almost 3 movies in one. Now, I'm going to say at the beginning of this movie, it was very intriguing. It was very engaging. Bill Skarsgård is just a charming character, but you never quite sure what's all the way there. Just his presence and his demeanor. And the girl plays it as well, plays it good here as well. She's super cautious, always looking, got one eye open, but always wanting to help people at the same time. But the movie takes a unexpected turn after we hit that basement. It goes to a completely different movie. And this is a small spoiler here if y'all don't know this. Justin Long's in this movie, and it takes it from his perspective, then another perspective, and coming back to the main story. So it's a lot of movie going on here. And what did I think of this film? Yeah, first off, you shouldn't be renting Airbnbs in this side of Detroit. I'm from Detroit, right? And this neighborhood actually exists. It's on the east side. I took my wife to go see it with me. She said she knew the exact street it was. You know what I'm saying? It's literally parts of Detroit that, especially on the east side by the State Fair, that you will go down and every house on both sides of the streets are abandoned. Like, it's the weirdest shit you have ever seen. It's like people burning barrels in the street, like homeless people. And in some streets you'll go down to be a whole block of abandoned houses and to be one house that's kept up, which is still kind of creepy as well. So these type of houses exist in Detroit, these type of neighborhoods. It looks like The Last of Us or some shit. And actually, to keep it 100% real with you, there's more scarier shit that goes on in these Detroit houses. I'm talking about some bad shit. I mean, I think it was even last summer that we had a serial killer who was murdering and, taking women and doing certain things with them in these houses and murdering them, like crackheads and prostitutes. And he was a serial killer. I think he probably had like 6 or 7 bodies before he got caught. So these houses are so bad. It's like a martial law. Anything can goes in these houses. And the city is trying to tear these houses down slowly, but there's so many people left the city of Detroit that all these abandoned houses are just there now. So it's like a barren wasteland. It's almost sad, but it's beautiful at the same time. As far as this movie goes, I think the first half is very engaging, and then we get to the Justin Long part. He adds some comedic tones to the movie. He's an absolutely piece of shit. He has been accused of doing some horrible things in this film, so, that kind of goes in the plot. But when I think of it overall, did we even need Justin Long character at all? You know what I'm saying? He didn't really need to be in the movie for the movie to still exist with the first part of this movie and maybe the latter half. Now, there's another plot in the movie that tries to explain why it's happening, and I was going into it without going into it, but it doesn't explain it fully, and it doesn't show us some of the stuff. It kind of leaves us up to our imagination. So when I got the reveal in the third act, I was a little let down. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. I mean, it was cool, but like, I wish they would have pushed that envelope further. If we could have got more of this certain things that I'm talking about. Like, maybe it was more, and I wish this movie was more brutal. I don't think there's a lot of kills in here. There's some body horror that's okay, that's pretty good, but nothing I have never seen before. I actually think one of the first kills was probably my favorite throughout the film. And I think the film gets a little bit ridiculous at the end there in that third act. I was like, a couple things happened at the very end. I was like, no, that's weird, and that wouldn't happen. It gets a little ridiculous, and you know what I'm saying? It took me out of the film a little bit. Even as I'm leaving the theater, I remember my wife leaving the theater, I asked her, she's like, that wasn't that scary. My wife don't do horror at all, so for her to say it's not scary, I know the film was not that scary, and that's another thing to me, the film, but yeah, just wasn't that scary, you know what I'm saying? It had creepy parts of the lighting with the, you know what I'm saying, in the basement and that stuff, but overall, and some disturbing imagery involving a nipple. a nipple that was disturbing, but I found the turkey baster in the other Detroit movie, Don't Breathe, a lot more disturbing. I'll just put it like that. So overall, if I had to score Barbarian, I think I'm landing around a 2.8 out of 5. It almost got a 3 if they would have pushed that horror, if they would have brung that Carnage Candy up to another level. This movie would almost be a 3, but it's too disconjointed with its plots, and it doesn't really mean anything to the overall story. It's just this middle movie in there that didn't really need to be in there. You know what I'm saying? We were having a lot more fun at the beginning of this film than I was having in the middle of it. It kind of goes comical and less scary. It really starts to become less scary and less entertaining and engaging. And once you find out the big reveal, I'm like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? They could have done a better job with that. That's all I'm saying. So what's up? Have y'all checked out Barbarian, or have y'all checked out Airbnbs in Detroit? Don't do it, especially it's on the east side. You might not have the best of time, but most of the houses, most of the Detroit's fine. Even though it looks crazy sometimes, doesn't mean it's necessarily dangerous at the same time either. I don't want to give the D a completely bad reputation. I grew up on a beautiful street in Detroit on Annabelle. It was filled with trees and everything, but you know, as over the years, people left and the houses became more and more abandoned. You know what I'm saying? That's just like the history of the city. But this making a comeback and this stuff downtown, that's very cool. So what do y'all guys think of Barbarian? Let me know, yeah, in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead, hit me that like button. If you really like this content, consider subscribing to the Q Review family. And don't just stare at it, eat it. Peace.
I'm out cold, you hoes been exposed. Walk up on you slow with the foe and unload. You got mo left for dead on the road. I strode when your car got